In this video, I'm going to share over 100 top resources for blockchain developers. So if you're trying to learn blockchain or you're a developer already, then you definitely want to check out this list, because I've made a couple videos about this on my channel already in the past, but this list keeps on growing and growing as I find out about new things, integrate them into my own personal workflow. And so I want to share all these with you today. Okay, so there's a link to all the resources down in the description below this video. So as I talk about them, you can just click through and use them yourself. So before we get into that, if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash the like button down below and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to learn how to master blockchain step by step from start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. All right, so let's get into this. So I'm going to go down this list and talk about each one individually. I'll try to make it kind of fast because, of course, we have a lot to cover here. So we'll do that, and it's not super organized. I mean, there's some groupings to this, but some things might get a little out of place, and I've kind of included some of the things I'm been using recently at the top. So let's go ahead and jump in. The first thing that's pretty cool is called CoinTop. Okay. So this is a command line tool for monitoring cryptocurrency prices. It's pretty easy to set up, and once you've got it running, it looks like this. All right. And, you can see different cryptocurrencies here. You can sort them by like the name, the ranking, market cap. And you can also enter their prices. You can track your portfolio, favorites, and things like that. So it's pretty cool, and I highly recommend checking this out. So next is unstoppable domains. All right. This is where you can register a domain name on the blockchain. So if you want to say, your first name here, you can create a .crypto domain name that points to your Ethereum address, okay, or lots of other cryptocurrency addresses like Bitcoin as well. So instead of having some hard to read address, you can actually do a human readable address like this. So it works like regular DNS. You just set it up, but once you do, you own it on the blockchain. And so if you want to register your domain name today, you can click the link down in the description below to get started. So next is the Truffle framework. So this is a suite of tools for developing Ethereum smart contracts. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while, then you've definitely seen me use Truffle in almost all my tutorials. So it allows you to create smart contracts with Solidity programming language, deploy them to Ethereum, and write tests for them. And it's an extremely useful tool if you want to be a blockchain developer. Okay. So the next is the Embark framework. So this is an alternative to Truffle. So if you want to check this out, you can definitely do that. This is created by the people who make Status, which is a mobile Ethereum wallet. All right. And, basically Embark is an alternative to Truffle that you can use to do a lot of the same stuff. So a lot of people prefer Embark over Truffle. So if you want to find out which one you prefer, then I highly recommend checking that out. Okay. So the next one is Remix. Of course, Remix is an invaluable tool for developing Ethereum smart contracts because you don't have to download anything on your computer in order to get started. And of course, Remix is an invaluable tool for developing Ethereum smart contracts because you don't have to install anything on your computer to get started. So this is a browser-based IDE, which means you can basically create smart contracts inside your... Which means that you can create smart contracts in your browser. All right. You can like this, you can compile them inside of Remix, and you can also deploy them to the network. So you can do everything inside of here without, having to use the command line or anything like that. So that's a huge benefit of Remix. I use it all the time. So yeah, highly recommend it. Next is Ethereum Studio, which used to be called Superblocks. Okay, so this is another browser-based IDE where you can do a lot more in your browser than just, develop the smart contracts. You can also, it's got a lot of great features that you can check out here on the website. All right. So this has a full IDE with folders. You can do more than just create smart contracts. You can actually have like a JavaScript app inside of it. So kind of like a Truffle project, but you could do everything in your browser. Okay. So that's a little bit more advanced than Remix. So that's pretty cool. Check that out for sure. The next will be, of course, Ganache. So if you want to use a blockchain on your computer without having to pay real money, then Ganache is the way to go. So this is a lot nicer experience than trying to develop on the main Ethereum network for sure, because of course you don't have to pay any money to do it, and you can get some free accounts here, and it's a lot faster because of course working with the Ethereum network can be a little bit slow at times, but that's just the state of things. So you've undoubtedly seen me use Ganache if you watch any of my other tutorials, but if you haven't and you're brand new, then you definitely want to check that out. All right, so the next is Geth. So Geth is an Ethereum client, which basically means it's software that runs on your computer that allows you to run an Ethereum node, all right? So Geth is the Go implementation of Ethereum. So if you want to run your own node, Geth is one way to do it. All right. So Geth is an actively maintained, really important project. So if you want to mine Ethereum, you can use Geth. If you just want to run a full node to run your own dApps or something like that. If you want to run a full node to, for your own dApps, then Geth is a really good way to go. Okay. So an alternative to Geth is Parity. All right. So I like Parity too. I use it myself, and it's another Ethereum client. So if you want to run a full node, or even a light node, or if you want to run a node for any reason, then Parity is also another really good option. Okay. So the next item is Alchemy. All right. So this is one that I actually started looking into recently. I've actually been talking with the folks over at Alchemy. So Alchemy is like an Ethereum node as a service where you get a link to an Ethereum node. You don't have to run it yourself, but you also get a lot more than that. Okay. You can get a dashboard that will help you, monitor the network, monitor your node connection, things like that. You can get notifications. There's a lot more that they do that I highly recommend checking out. And so, yeah, Alchemy is a new project to me, and I look forward to, digging into this more myself. So next is Infura. So this is one I definitely use in my tutorials a lot. So this is another Ethereum node as a service. You can get started today for free just by clicking up here. And basically, Infura prevents you from having to run your own Ethereum node, or I guess saves you from having to run your own Ethereum node. Not have to deal with the headache of syncing and all that kind of stuff. And you can just, click a few buttons, get a link, and start connecting to the Ethereum mainnet pretty fast. Okay. So let's see here. The next one is the Graph. Okay. And this is a brand new tool, at least for me, that I started using recently. This is a way for fetching information from the blockchain without having to connect to a node. You can use GraphQL to do it. Okay. So it's an API. So if you're not familiar with GraphQL, it's a graphical query language. It's a pretty hot way to fetch information from APIs, okay, because you can just ask for the exact information you want, and this nice syntax looks like this, and it will return you, the information how you specify, okay. So a lot of big projects use the Graph, okay, for fetching information from the blockchain, like Uniswap, Synthetics, Decentraland, and Aragon. And basically, it's a way for just fetching information from the blockchain, so you don't have to actually talk to a node. You don't have to do any of that kind of stuff. It's really fast. So yeah, definitely check out the Graph. So the next one is TorGuard. Okay, so I've done some videos about this myself. So if you are using Ethereum and you're not using a VPN, then you're definitely you're missing a layer of privacy for sure, because blockchains aren't private. TorGuard is actually the VPN that I use myself. So basically it allows you to hide your IP when you're using the blockchain, or really anything on the internet. And TorGuard is the one I use myself. I've got a special code that you can use to sign up for TorGuard. They didn't reach out to me about sponsoring this video or anything like that. It's just, this is the one I actually use, and I figure if I use it and tell you all about it, I might as well give you the special code, because you get 50% off. Okay. So there'll be a link to that down in the description below as well. So next, of course, is Solidity. So this is the, main programming language for writing Ethereum smart contracts. So Solidity is a nice language or I guess beginner-friendly language. It looks a lot like C++, Python, and JavaScript. That's used for creating Ethereum smart contracts for the Ethereum virtual machine. And Solidity is a statically typed language. It supports inheritance, libraries, and it's a fully fledged programming language. And the use cases for Solidity are becoming clearer and clearer over time as we see a lot of these popular apps, come out on the blockchain. I'll talk more about those here in a minute. Okay. So the next is Viper, which is an alternative to the Solidity programming language. So Viper is influenced by Python, hence the name Viper, another snake. And it provides just a different syntax for writing Ethereum smart contracts, a different way to do it. It's probably used less than Solidity, but if you want a different option for writing smart contracts, then you can definitely check out Viper. So the next is Web3.js. So this is the main JavaScript library for interacting with Ethereum. So if you have a website that talks to the blockchain, you need a special library to do that. And Web3.js is a really popular option. Okay. So you can use the Web3.js on the client side, so a website, or on the back end. If you have like a Node.js backend app, you can use Web3.js as well. If you have any scripts that talk to the blockchain, you can use Web3.js to do that as well. So, I've done lots of tutorials on my channel about Web3.js. So you probably have seen those if you've been watching this channel, but if you're brand new, definitely check out Web3.js. This is an essential library to know if you're going to be a blockchain developer. So the next is ethers.js, and this is another library for talking to the blockchain, looks like Web3.js. So Ethers is really nice. There's got a lot of benefits. Some people really like this more than Web3.js. I've used it myself on a few projects. So if you want an alternative to Web3.js, then I highly recommend checking out Ethers. All right. So the next is Web3.py. So this is a Python implementation of Web3. So if you have a backend app written in Python, then you can connect to the blockchain and use it just like Web3.js. So if you're a Python programmer, then hey, you're in luck. Check out Web3.py. I've got a couple of tutorials on my channel that show you how to use it. So next is OpenZeppelin. All right, so this is a library for writing Ethereum smart contracts. It's got a lot of really nice stuff that you can use out of the box. So for example, if you want to create like an ICO smart contract, then you can just look at like, let's see here, any of these like token sale smart contracts or even a token, all right? So you can just take one off the shelf and customize it yourself with this library. So a huge benefit here is that these contracts are audited. So if you're worried about security on the network, then you can rest assured that, or you can have a much higher degree of confidence that the contract is secure if you use OpenZeppelin, okay? So there's no guarantee, if you change the code, something bad could happen. But OpenZeppelin's a great way to get started fast. So next is Truffle HD wallet provider. All right. So if you want to connect a hardware, or just connect any kind of wallet inside your app, then Truffle HD wallet provider is a good way to do it. So this has been abstracted from Truffle. So if you want to create like a connection to the blockchain where you can sign transactions inside of a JavaScript app, then you can just, paste in your mnemonic from MetaMask or paste in, a private key or something like that. And, yeah, you can see how to do that here with the GitHub repository, okay? So next is Truffle Flattener. So this is something that I use a lot on all my professional projects. So, when you're creating smart contracts that have libraries and inheritance, then a lot of times, your Truffle project or something like that will spit out multiple files. But sometimes you want to create a big flattened version of the smart contract so it all fits in one file. So maybe you want to use Remix, and you want to put everything inside of here and you want to deploy it, but you have multiple smart contracts inside your Truffle project, then you can use Truffle Flattener to create one big file, okay? Or maybe you want to verify your smart contract on Etherscan. Well, you can use this in order to do that. You just do a simple command line tool to, take all the files and put them into one file. All right, so the next one is Node.js, okay? So if you are going to install any of this stuff on your computer, a lot of these are JavaScript dependencies, so you'll need npm, and that comes with Node.js. Or like if you want to run, a backend server process, then I highly recommend using Node.js, and you could use that in tandem with Express.js, okay, which is a backend framework for writing web applications. All right, so if you have a Dapp that needs some backend functionality, you can use Express to do that because JavaScript's a really popular language for blockchain. If you know JavaScript, then you have a huge leg up in writing a web server app with Express. So next, if you're using Node, I highly recommend checking out MVM, especially if you're on a Mac, because a lot of times Node dependencies, you'll need to use different Node versions sometimes when you're switching between projects. And it's a real pain to have to like uninstall Node.js and install a different version. So Node Version Manager allows you to basically just switch versions really quickly. So like you can just, let's just see here. You can just type in and just switch Node versions really fast like that, okay? So I highly recommend checking that out if you want to change Node versions. So the next is, we keep going with Python here. You can look at Django. So this is a backend framework for building, web applications. So if you know Python, you're trying to build some sort of backend server for blockchain, then Django is a really good way to go. You can also check out Flask, which is a more lightweight alternative. Check out Flask here. Django is a little bit more like Ruby on Rails, where it's kind of got, some conventions that you have to follow. Flask is like more lightweight. And the whole idea is you sort of bring in only the parts that you need to build the application, and you customize it more yourself. There's fewer conventions if you're using something like Flask, okay? So the next thing is Drizzle, all right? So Drizzle is a way to build front ends for your blockchain-based application really fast. So it's got these really nice reusable UI components. You can just plug them into your React apps and stuff like that. So I've done a video about Drizzle on my channel. You can just search for that on YouTube and it should come up. And yeah, Drizzle's put out by the people who do Truffle. And yeah, it's really nice. So next is Bloxy. This is one that I use all the time in my projects because sometimes you have to debug Ethereum transactions on the mainnet and it can get really hard. So what Bloxy allows you to do is basically like take any transaction and paste it in, and you can see the entire stack trace, and that will help you spot errors on the mainnet. It's really nice. So in addition to that, you can also look at Tenderly, okay? So Tenderly does the same thing, or a very similar thing. So if you create smart contracts on the mainnet, you want to continuously monitor them, then you can use Tenderly to do that. And if you have a transaction that fails, you can connect to Tenderly and see some error messages and things like that. So you can see their dev prompt right here. So next is, of course, MetaMask. So if you're brand new, this is definitely something you need to know about because MetaMask is an Ethereum wallet. You can store cryptocurrency inside of it, at least Ethereum-based assets at the time of recording this video. And it also turns your web browser into a blockchain browser because most web browsers don't support connection to the blockchain out of the box. So if you want to use a Dapp, then highly recommend using MetaMask. All right, so next is Dharma. All right, so this is another Ethereum wallet, but it's a mobile wallet, okay? So the cool thing about Dharma is it onboards people into the blockchain with a few clicks of a button. So you can basically download Dharma on your phone. Like let's say you have an iPhone and you already have Apple Pay integrated with your debit card, then you can just download Dharma, and with a few clicks of a button, like you have some Ethereum in your wallet, maybe some DAI, like a stable cryptocurrency whose price doesn't change, and boom, you're in the Ethereum ecosystem. And you can even swap tokens natively from the Dharma app without any fees. Okay, so that's a huge deal. So if you want to use Uniswap and flip some coins, then you can literally just download Dharma, buy some DAI with your debit card and trade it for a new DeFi token on Uniswap within the app, which is pretty cool. So this is really great for new users. Highly recommend Dharma. I've done some videos about them on my channel so far. Okay, so the next is Argent, which is similar. It's a mobile wallet. It has a really nice onboarding process. So if you want an alternative to Dharma, it's a really good one to check out. The cool thing about Argent is it has Compound protocol built into it. So let's go back to that similar use case. If you put in, you just download it, click install, and then you could transfer some of your, money from your bank account into the app and start earning 3% interest, which is better than my bank account. So I think Argent's pretty cool. Definitely want to check that out. So next is My Ether wallet. So this is an online web wallet for, let's see here, for blockchain. All right. So you can create an Ether wallet online just like this. So also the very similar service, My Crypto, does the exact same thing. All right. So you got to walk through this, prompt before you agree to use the service, but that's how it works. All right. So next is Trust Wallet, which is another mobile wallet that I really like. This is one I use myself quite a bit. So yeah, Trust Wallet's really great. Check that out. Next is Coinbase Wallet. So yeah, again, another mobile wallet. But if you have a Coinbase account, then Coinbase Wallet is, a good option to use there. I've also used this myself personally. So next is Trezor. So Trezor is a hardware wallet to keep your coins safe. So if you want to basically keep crypto coins on a hardware device and require that you have the hardware device in order to send them anywhere, then Trezor is a good option. Same with Ledger. All right, it's a very similar thing. Ledger is a popular hardware wallet as well. Like I said, the whole idea is that you have to have the device present hooked to your computer in order to transfer your crypto. Okay. So next is Brave browser, which is an Ethereum, really just a blockchain-based browser where you can earn rewards for looking at ads. So you earn the BAT token. So the whole idea is that you're part of a revenue share model where if you watch ads, you get paid to do it, and you get paid in BAT tokens. And you have an instant connection to the blockchain, so you can use dApps with Brave natively out of the box. It's pretty cool. So next is Etherscan. All right. So Etherscan is really important if you're trying to do anything with blockchain with Ethereum. So if you want to look at Ethereum transactions, you can do that on Etherscan. If you want to inspect accounts, you can do that on Etherscan. If you use Ethereum at all, you're going to find yourself using Etherscan quite a bit. It's called a block explorer, and that's the whole idea, is it allows you to explore all the public activity on the blockchain. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and clear out some of these windows here because we're getting kind of big. All right. But yeah, Etherscan is something that you're definitely going to use on a daily basis. At least I use it on a daily basis because I spend so much time working with the blockchain. So, all right. Now that we've cleared out some of that junk. So next is Dapp Radar. So this is another tool to kind of explore the blockchain and find out about new dApps and look at the volume of dApps, how much cryptocurrency is flowing through them. They got some DeFi projects here. So I highly recommend looking at Dapp Radar. It's pretty cool. They support multiple blockchains, so you can filter by that as well. You can look at EOS, ETH, etc., etc. All right. So next is DeFi Pulse. So if you want to track all of the DeFi activity happening on Ethereum, then definitely check out DeFi Pulse. So you can see that trend that's been growing over a bunch. All right. DeFi is really hot right now. Went from $1 billion in total value locked to over $7 billion in just 90 days. So that's like a 7x. That's pretty crazy. So you can explore new DeFi projects like Aave, Maker, Curve, Synthetics, Yearn, Compound. So I'm going to talk about a lot of these later. But definitely check out DeFi Pulse. I find myself checking this almost every day. So next is ETH gas station. So if you want to find out what the gas price is on Ethereum right now, which when I open this, it's pretty high, then definitely check out ETH gas station. So this can be really helpful to know if you're, debugging things on Ethereum and hey, why did my transaction fail? It's gas is too low or something like that. You might want to check the gas price from here before you try to deploy, a contract or, call a function or something like that. Or hey, maybe you just want to wait until the gas prices are a little bit lower before you put your smart contract on the network or run some sort of function. You can kind of use this tool to refer what the current prices are. So next, let's see here, go back to my cheat sheet. Next is ETH converter. So this is one that I use a lot. If you're trying to convert Ether to Wei and Gwei and things like that, this is a really helpful tool. So for example, if you're looking at the Ethereum prices, you see this is, 124. Well, you see these gas prices are in Gwei. So if you want to know how much Ether that is, you can say 124. Okay. And that's the amount of Ether. And that's the amount of Wei. Similarly, if you're trying to use a smart contract that transfers tokens and the tokens want to know the Wei amount. So you say you want to transfer one token and it has 18 decimal places. Well, then that's how many Wei you need to send. Or maybe you have 425 tokens. You want to know how much Wei? Then that's how much, okay? Or even better, 4.2556, something like that, right? It handles decimals too. So check that out for sure. All right, so the next one is, let's see, Etherscan, Ether converter. Next is the Rinkeby test network. So this is one that I use a lot for creating smart contracts and testing them out. So, Ethereum has multiple networks. You can look at the main net. You can look at Rinkeby test network, Kovan, Ropsten, Gorley. I hope I'm saying that right. I always say it wrong, but that's the whole idea. Is you can do things with Ethereum without having to risk real money. All right. So the next, if you want to use a different test network, I use Kovan a lot too. So here's the Kovan version, just at kovan.etherscan.io, which is pretty cool because it has its own block explorer, and you can look at transactions for that. So for some reason it's loading kind of slow right now, so I'll just maybe come back to that here in a minute. So also, if you want some test ether to use on the Kovan test network, you can log in with GitHub, and you can request ether, and it'll instantly appear in your wallet. Okay, so that's definitely awesome if you want to do test transactions on the Kovan network. So you've also got the Ropsten test network, same thing on Etherscan here. Let's see here. The Goerli test network, again, I hope I'm saying that right, but this is a really important one for Ethereum 2.0. All right, so if you want to run an Ethereum 2.0 validator, you can do that on this test network. And that leads me to my next one, which is Prism. So the Prism client is an Ethereum 2.0 implementation, and you definitely want to check that out. I released a video on this a couple weeks ago on how to set up your own Ethereum 2.0 node. And, Prismatic Labs is the one who's created this. And yeah, definitely want to check this out if you plan on running your own ETH 2.0 validator node and want to get it set up on the test network now. All right, next is IPFS. So this is a protocol for distributed file storage. So if you want to create a front end for your blockchain application and put it on IPFS, then you don't need a web server to host your app. Okay, so that's really cool. Or if you want to create like a decentralized Dropbox or something like that, basically IPFS runs with a peer-to-peer network that has nodes, a lot like a blockchain does, and that's where the file storage lives. All right, so the next one, let's see here, is Swarm. All right, so Swarm is a very similar type technology here. Swarm is basically another censorship-resistant infrastructure, a lot like IPFS, Ethereum, blockchain. It's another distributed way of doing the same thing. Okay. So next is Whisper. So this is a decentralized decentralized chat protocol. Originally, the whole idea was to communicate between dApps, but Whisper's been used to create chat apps like in Status, for example. All right. So next is ENS, or Ethereum Name Service. Okay. So ENS is another DNS-like protocol for, let's see here, Ethereum. Let me use a better link here. All right, here's a better link. Whole idea is that you can have, yourname.eth, and that'll correspond to your Ethereum address, and that way people don't have to remember that crazy long hexadecimal address. All right, so next we're going to move into some dApps. So DAI is probably one of the most important decentralized applications. It's a stable currency. It's a stable coin whose price isn't changed. It's roughly pegged to the US dollar. It's powered by MakerDAO, okay? So, DAI is technically a dApp, even though it doesn't have like any kind of user-facing application. But stablecoins are really important to the ecosystem. DAI is a decentralized stablecoin in the sense that it's backed by crypto assets, not fiat money. And so that's a pretty important part when you're talking about potential regulations. So next is Uniswap protocol. So Uniswap is a DEX, okay, it's a decentralized cryptocurrency exchange where you just pick the currency that you have, the currency that you want, and it automatically swaps it. So it's got a pretty cool thing called automated market maker technology in the background, which competes with traditional market making strategies where you have like an order book and all that kind of stuff, all the candlestick charts, and then somebody's on the back end actually, doing market making actively. Well, Uniswap automates all that stuff away. So Uniswap's really popular right now, and for good reason. So next is 1inch Exchange. All right, so 1inch is a DEX aggregator. So there's all these different decentralized exchanges out on the Ethereum network, and 1inch plugs into almost all of them. Okay, and so if you want to find the best rate, 1inch automatically routes you to the best exchange, and does it that way. So I use 1inch quite a bit. Next is the Compound protocol. So Compound is a protocol, it's a savings and lending protocol. So basically you can supply funds to Compound and earn interest. So like DAI, for example, you can earn 3% interest on that. You can borrow money from Compound. So this is one of the original DeFi apps. I like Compound quite a bit. They have a liquidity mining program. I covered it inside my DeFi masterclass recently that I used to build my passive income app. Compound is a protocol powered by smart contracts, and you can interact with it without having to use the interface. So you can check out the developer documentation here that will show you how to do that. All right. So the next one is Aave, which is very similar. Aave kind of goes a little bit further and is implementing a lot more features, like they're working on social lending and things like that, where you can do under collateralized loans. But yeah, same idea where you can, just apply money, earn interest, and borrow money. Okay. But the time of recording this video, Aave does not have a liquidity mining program. So Aave is still one of my favorite projects in the space. They have a token that's like taking off like a rocket lately. So it's pretty cool. Not financial advice, but I like Aave. Next is DYDX. So, one thing I meant to mention about Aave is one of the first providers of flash loans. So this is a big deal on Ethereum, where you can borrow, like millions of dollars of cryptocurrency with zero money down. Well, Aave was one of the first people to implement that idea, and that's one of the things that kind of put them on the map. So that's one reason I want to talk about DYDX is you can also do flash loans with DYDX. Now, that's not their primary purpose. DYDX is a trading platform, okay? But on the back end, they do have a way to do flash loans too. So DYDX is an important project to know about. So next is Synthetics. So Synthetics is a derivatives exchange on top of Ethereum. So the whole idea is that you can trade derivatives on chain. So if you want to trade Bitcoin, which doesn't exist on Ethereum, you can do it with Synthetics. They're working on other markets like stocks and different indexes and all that kind of stuff. So Synthetics is pretty awesome. There's a lot more to Synthetics. I highly recommend just checking it out, looking at their website, and that'll give you the full explanation. All right, so next is Chainlink. So Chainlink is a decentralized Oracle network. So what does that mean? Well, blockchain-based applications need access to off-chain data a lot of times, like the price of Ether, for example, and that's what Chainlink does. So it gives that information to smart contracts in a decentralized way. So it uses like a network of validators. Chainlink's really popular. They got a hackathon coming up pretty soon that I'm a sponsor of, so I'm a big fan of Chainlink. Yeah, you can see, you can read more about their service here on their website. So Chainlink powers a lot of really hot projects too, by the way, like Synthetics, Uniswap uses them, Aave. I mean, a lot of the projects I just talked about like have Chainlink integrations. So they're pretty relied upon the network. So the next is REN protocol. So REN allows you to move cryptocurrencies, like non-native cryptocurrencies from Ether to the Ethereum network. So Bitcoin, for example, if you want to move your Bitcoin to Ethereum, use it for yield farming, use it for any DeFi-based application, you can do that with REN. So REN is definitely one you want to check out for sure, worth watching. So Dapp is another one. So this is a way to manage your DeFi applications on a single dashboard. All right, it's pretty cool because again, a lot of these dApps in the background have just smart contracts powering them, and Dapp allows you to hook into all those in one place. So next is Nexus Mutual. So this is an important project in the DeFi space. There's risks whenever using smart contracts. And let's say you're using DeFi and you put, thousands of dollars into a DeFi protocol. Well, there's a risk that could get hacked, right? There's a risk that you might make a mistake or something like that, or the developers might make a mistake. And what happens if, your funds are lost? Well, that's where Nexus Mutual comes into play, okay? So whenever you, interact with a smart contract, you move large amounts of funds, and they will insure your deposits, okay? So, it's not financial advice. You definitely want to check all that out before you decide to go to do something like that. Do your own research for sure, but that's the core of what Nexus Mutual does, and it's a really important project in the space that I think will remove a lot of friction for people using smart contracts and DeFi. So next is MStable. So MStable is a protocol for swapping stable coins. And the whole idea is to have zero slippage, which basically means zero loss whenever you're exchanging assets. So that's pretty cool. MStable is definitely one you want to check out. So next is Aragon. So Aragon is all about DAOs. So Aragon has developer tools that you can use to build your own DAOs, which are decentralized autonomous organizations. So say you have an investment fund or something like that, and they want to vote about how funds are used actually on the blockchain. Well, you can do that with Aragon. So if you want to check that out, you can just go here and run your own kind of playground Aragon app. Aragon's used in production by lots of projects. I've, connected with the team at Aragon over time, and yeah, it's a really, really great project. All right. So the next is React.js. We're kind of jumping away from core blockchain projects here, but kind of switch gears and I'll clear out some of these browser tabs. So React is a really great library for building user interfaces in JavaScript. It's a component-based library. I use it a lot in my tutorials. Definitely check out React. An alternative to React is Vue.js. All right. So it's another JavaScript framework for building user interfaces. So neither one of these are blockchain specific, but React is really hot in the blockchain space, particularly for Ethereum, and lots of people use Vue as well. But I think React's more popular. So next, let's talk about some hosting options. So if you want to put like a React or a Vue app on, a web server, so people can use it, then I use Heroku a lot. It's kind of my go-to hosting service. I've used it for years. I like it a lot. Definitely check that out. That's what I use inside the Blockchain Bootcamp as well. So next is AWS. So if you want to run your own node or something like that, or run more complex infrastructure, have more control, AWS is a good option. Lots of people are also choosing Google Cloud Platform these days. Okay, so if you want to run some sort of server process, run a node, run a backend, Google Cloud Platform is also another way to go. Another really popular is DigitalOcean, okay? And that's one that, I've used myself as well. This is more for, DigitalOcean is a really popular option if you want to use Docker, which I've covered some on my channel as well. All right, so next, let's talk about some books, okay? So the first one is The Infinite Machine. So if you want to find out about, the history of Ethereum, this is a really good one that I read recently myself. I like it a lot. Check it out. The next one is the Bitcoin Standard. So if you want to learn more about kind of like what Bitcoin is and why it's a good idea as a hard money, then there's some pretty compelling ideas inside this book as well. There's a little bit of controversy about Ethereum towards the end, so definitely, form your own opinions on that. But yeah, I think it's still a good book for kind of talking about why Bitcoin is important. I think it is. I know some people disagree with me on that, but that's okay. So next are not just necessarily books, but things that you should definitely check out to read. So the first is the Ethereum white paper. All right. So this has the original sort of idea about Ethereum, outlined here. So if you want to see the original idea, without any editing, kind of have a really important document for the history of Ethereum, then check that out. You can also look at the Ethereum yellow paper, which is a more technical description of how Ethereum should work. A white paper is more like layman's terms, I guess as layman as you can get with Ethereum, and the yellow paper is more technical. So next is Mastering Ethereum. So it's another book. All right, this is by Andreas Antonopoulos. Yeah, if you want to learn more about Ethereum, smart contract, all that kind of stuff, then I really like this book. I think it's a good one. Okay. Next is Mastering Bitcoin, which is very similar. So if you want if you want a similar perspective on the Bitcoin network, then this is a good one too. All right. So next will be weekend Ethereum news. So if you want to keep up to date with what's happening in the Ethereum space on a daily basis or every weekly basis, I should say, then definitely check out this newsletter. I like it a lot. Let's see here. Some other people kind of follow on Twitter and stuff like that. Other kind of news sources will be Bankless is a pretty good one. This is one I've been watching more recently. Check out Bankless. You can follow more people on Twitter like that. ETHub is another really great resource for learning about Ethereum. Documentation. They have a podcast. If you want to learn how to run, a node or something, or just learn about Ethereum, definitely recommend ETHub. You can check out Anthony Sassano on Twitter, who is he runs ETHub, or co-founder of ETHub, and I follow his tweets quite a bit. Just to keep up with the space. So big fan. While we're talking about Twitter, definitely Vitalik Buterin, co-founder of Ethereum, mastermind behind Ethereum. I follow Vitalik a lot just to see his commentary about what's happening in the space. Next would be Nuggets News. So this is definitely one that I follow myself, just to keep an idea about what's going on with the whole space for yeah, just to find out about new things that I wouldn't necessarily see inside my developer community. So, of course, this is Alex Saunders, big fan. Does a good job. Of course, this is an investment channel or an investment his audience are cryptocurrency investors for sure. But I like that perspective because they're always trying to say 2 steps ahead and find out like what's the next thing. And it's a really great news source for trying to find that out. That can still benefit you as a developer, and it'll help you have a news source that isn't just focused on developers, but have a common interest, because I don't know, just listening to developers all the time can kind of make things a little echo chamber-ish. Okay, so let's see here. The next thing is Gitcoin. All right, so we're getting close to the end here. But Gitcoin is a pretty cool app for like funding projects. So if you want to build a Dapp and you want to get funding, then Gitcoin's a good way to do that. It's also got really great educational stuff where you can like do quests and learn about Ethereum. Like if you want to teach your friends about how blockchain works, then Gitcoin quests are pretty cool. I've done some videos about that on my channel as well. Of course, as far as education goes, ethereum.org, just the main Ethereum website's really good. They have some good resources on how to get started in developing. So it's a good resource in addition to this channel. So if you want to learn, when you have more resources outside of Dapp University, check out ethereum.org. You can of course play Crypto Zombies, which is the next item on the list, which is a cool game for kind of like, learning more about Solidity, kind of strengthening your skills there. So you can check that out with a gamified experience. So let's see here. The next is, we talked about Bankless already, so that's another twice. Whoops. Another Twitter follow would be the DeFi Dad. So if you want to learn about trends in DeFi, he's a pretty cool guy that I've been following for a while, just to see like, new projects that I don't keep, like I find out about new projects from him a lot. So, or new techniques. So, because these projects are like adding new features all the time. And honestly, it's really hard to keep up with everything. And he's a cool guy to listen to find out about that stuff and simplify it for everyday users. So, let's look at Reddit is another really great resource for developers. If you want to like find out about what's going on, people ask questions in here all the time. So this is the EtherDev subreddit. All right. So the next one would be, let's see, DevCon. So these are some conferences. So DevCon, the next one is going to be an in-person conference in Colombia, all right, in 2021. So that's one I'm personally looking forward to myself. It's put on by the Ethereum Foundation. Huge conference. This is like the prime time conference for blockchain developers. The next will be TruffleCon. All right, so I've been to TruffleCon myself. I've spoken at TruffleCon. Truffle is the framework that I use a lot on my channel. Talked about earlier in this video, and they do a conference annually as well. So next would be ETH Denver, another really great conference for blockchain developers. Lots of cool projects have gotten started at ETH Denver. Yeah, they kind of got the last wave before everything got crazy in 2020, but there will be an ETH Denver 2021. So next, let's talk about some job resources. Of course, hired.com is a really good one. This is basically jobs apply to you. So you create your own profile on here, and then people apply to you to get jobs. So they have blockchain-specific tracks, so that's really great if you're a blockchain developer. The next is cryptojobslist.com, which is a niche job website for getting any kind of blockchain job, but you can also filter by like developer jobs. You can filter by Solidity and all that kind of stuff. So you can really drill down and find out exactly the skills that you want to get hired for. So next is the cryptocurrency jobs website. This is cryptocurrencyjobs.co. Same kind of thing. You can look for niche websites in blockchain, find remote jobs, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so another one is Block Tribe, another blockchain niche website. Just another one. If you're going to look for a job, might as well look in all the possible places. And these are some popular ones that you can try. And the last one would be the EtherDev subreddit. Okay, so in r/ETHDev, there's a long list of like who's hiring. And so you can go find companies who have posted jobs inside of here. You can also post yourself and your own skills, and people can potentially reach out to you about those types of things as well. All right. So last and not least is the blockchain bootcamp. All right. So if you want to take advantage of all this stuff and actually put this all together, I can show you how to do everything inside this program. The blockchain bootcamp shows you how to master blockchain step by step from start to finish. So you can land a high paying job, become a freelancer, whatever, build your own project, and of course take that knowledge and go from there. So that's all I've got. I hope you like this video. Of course, smash the like button down below. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. And until next time, thanks for watching Dapp University.